Welcome to the ninth grade experience. I'm your host, Chris Dutchko. As a teacher of freshmen and one of our freshman mentor committee faculty advisors, I spend a lot of my school day thinking about and helping students with the successful transition from middle school to the halls of Emmaus High School. The goal of this podcast is to give you the story of the ninth grade here at Emmaus High School through the people who live it daily, the students and staff. We will attempt to touch on the real issues and stories that ninth grade students face, ranging from academics to athletics, technical school, and just trying to find your way as one person in a community of approximately 2,700 students. We will also look to speak with some of the influential staff members who play a key part in a student's ninth grade year. It is the hope that future ninth grade students and their families can use the tips and insights provided here to begin making connections to their potential new school and learn more about the day-to-day lives of the students that they will one day become and realize from day one that ninth grade counts. You can learn more about this episode and all of the episodes of the ninth grade experience by following us on Twitter at EHSFMC or at Chris Stutchko, or following the hashtag EHS9counts, or our website, sites.google.com/eastpennsd.org/ninth grade experience. Before we jump into today's topic, let's thank our sponsor for this show, the East Penn Education Foundation. This podcast has been made possible through a $1,000 grant awarded to teachers like me each year who are attempting to do unique projects in the area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The foundation supports programs that put learning in motion by giving students the tools they need to think actively in a complex and changing world. You can follow them on Facebook at EPSD Education Foundation, on Twitter at EPSD EdFound, or on Instagram at EPSD Ed Foundation. Now on to the show. For Sophia Iacobelli and Nicole Nosal, keeping busy has been a key to a successful transition this year at Emmaus High School. These freshmen are taking demanding course loads, which include at least 2 honors classes each, a project lead the way engineering class, and a shared Spanish 2 class at the end of their days. Outside the classroom, Sophia is involved in orchestra, student government, and will soon begin tryouts for the swim team, while Nicole recently finished her cross-country season and is now training with the fitness team. In this episode, they talk about the importance of balancing their time, keeping up with their work, and getting involved early in their high school career in order to learn the school and make friends. We slowed them down just enough to record this episode, so here are Sophia and Nicole. All right, everyone, welcome to this episode of the Ninth Grade Experience podcast. I'm here with 2 high-performing freshmen, Sophia Iacobelli and Nicole Nosal. Just kind of here, they've been recommended, kind of doing some really great stuff this year, so we wanted to catch up with them and see how their ninth grade year is going. So thanks a lot for joining us, ladies.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so our first question that we normally ask people is, what has your ninth grade experience been like? So we're about 2.5 months into the school year. We've made it through the first marking period. So what has your ninth grade experience been like so far?
I've enjoyed it a lot more than middle school. I feel like I've been fitting in better. And I feel like I'm doing pretty well academically and socially, so I feel like it's going well all around. And
I should have let you guys introduce yourselves so that the listeners can know who it is. That was Sophia talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we'll let Nicole, what do you have to say?
I think it has been pretty fun so far. Hasn't been that hard of an adjustment, and I think it's been really good.
Okay, so we've had a lot of different episodes here, and we have the 2 ladies here are involved in lots of different stuff that we haven't had on some previous episodes. So I'm really excited to kind of find out what their involvement is like in some of their extracurricular activities. But first, they're both taking really demanding course loads, a lot of honors classes, a lot of higher level classes. So can you guys talk about what that adjustment has been like academically for you guys coming up to the high school, and what have you had to kind of learn or adjust from middle school to high school?
It's definitely been harder than middle school because middle school is a lot just more like fluff work, I'd say. But it's definitely not too bad of an adjustment, and I'm still like maintaining good grades, and I have time to like hang out with my friends still and do what I want to do. So I feel like I'm handling it okay, and it's not too bad of an adjustment from middle school.
Okay, and how about you, Nicole? What have you found that's been challenging or that you've had to adjust here at the high school level?
I've had to learn better time management to balance my schoolwork and any outside activities that I do. And it's tough at first, but once you figure out what your schedule is, it gets a whole lot easier.
Okay, so looking at your schedules, the class that usually freshmen come in and say they have the most trouble with is biology. You're taking the biology honors classes, which are a little bit higher level classes. So how has that class been for you, and kind of what has the workload been like in there? Because that's one that traditionally a lot of kids say is the hardest one of their freshman year.
Personally, I'm not having trouble with it. It's actually my highest grade right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I don't think it's too bad. I'm glad I'm taking that instead of GSI because it's giving me enough of a challenge, but I'm still enjoying it.
Okay. And how about you, Nicole? Are you noticing anything about that biology class?
I do find that I struggle at times, but once you find out how to study for biology, everything comes so much easier.
And is there a class that you talked about that might be your best class? Is there a class that you have struggled with a little bit here in the early going, like kind of something that maybe you didn't expect to be as challenging? And what have you done to help work through that or overcome that?
Currently, my math grade is not as good as it usually is because I haven't realized how much I like numbers until they were taken away. So my grade has gone down a little bit when we started doing like proofs and things. But to bring it back up, I've just been studying a lot more and taking my time doing my homework and making sure that I'm understanding what I'm doing. And
you're both in, that's an Algebra 2 honors class, and you're actually both in that different sections throughout the day. So, Nicole, is there a class that you've kind of identified that maybe is a little bit more challenging than you thought it would be?
Definitely biology, and at times American Studies. It's just memorizing, and it just takes a lot of memorization and a lot of work sometimes.
Okay. So there is one class that you guys have in common together, and it's Spanish. They were together right before here, so maybe they were plotting all their answers or who knows. So can you talk to us about what is it like taking a language? I assume you took Spanish 1 at the middle school level. Yeah. So can you just talk about that process of like taking the language at middle school and then coming up and then jumping right into the second level of the language here at the high school?
In middle school, I didn't really struggle with Spanish, but like going from middle school to high school, I forgot what I learned because of like summer and not practicing actually like using Spanish.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was a bit of a struggle to try and get my memory back with like what I had learned last year. But now that I'm back in the swing of things, it's back to being like an easier class.
Okay.
I have to agree with Sophia on that. I forgot most of the stuff from Spanish 1 over the summer, but once you get back into class, everything just slowly comes back to you.
Yeah, and it's funny because I took 4 years of Spanish in high school and took AP Spanish and then took Spanish in college. And it's funny that when you don't use a language like that, you kind of forget it a little bit. I didn't use it much after college, and then I taught at William Allen High School and then used it a little bit more. So now I try to use it a little bit more. And it's funny when you don't use something like a language, you kind of forget all those different things. So yeah, I guess that gets a little bit, you get back into the flow of things here as the school year starts. But you're both very busy. Even at the beginning of the year, you guys started off busy with getting into high school and then also keeping yourselves involved. So why did you want to become involved? And we'll talk to each of you about what you're involved in. But why was getting involved early such an important thing for the both of you?
Getting involved early was important because then I felt like I was adjusting easier, because I feel like when you start earlier, you have more time to like adjust to it and meet new people and feel like welcomed and like at home almost.
Okay. And what about you, Nicole? You were involved in you're involved in a sport that was right away, like even before school started, you were involved in it. So talk to us a little bit about your involvement in cross country and like kind of how that helped you to kind of ease your way into the transition here at Emmaus High School.
Being involved in cross country definitely helped me a lot because I met a lot more freshmen and upperclassmen, and seeing them in the halls, they'll just say hi to you, and it makes you feel more comfortable with the high school, especially when you're just learning the halls.
Yeah, and you get that opportunity to kind of meet people and kind of talk to them and talk it through. So cross country just ended for you, thankfully, now that the weather is 30 degrees and 20 degrees.
Yeah.
But it's always funny seeing the cross country runners because nothing stops them from running. So I'm sure you had some days where you ran in the rain and ran in the wind and ran in all that stuff. So what would you tell people, because I know a lot of people do cross country at the middle school level. So what is the difference between like cross country at the middle school level and cross country here at the high school?
At the high school, you definitely have to be dedicated to what you're doing, and it has to be something that you're interested in. I feel cross country isn't something that you can just do. You have to enjoy it and you have to like it.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those things where you just go out for a 5-6 mile run just because you kind of feel like it, right?
Yeah.
So you were involved in that, and we're going to come back to something that you're involved. Both of you are involved or potentially going to be involved in some activities that are occurring here in the wintertime. But I wanted to go back to Sophia for a second. You are a part of the SGA as a freshman, which is awesome. So can you just, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording about exactly what your role is, and it's kind of like, you know, as a freshman, you're just kind of getting your feet wet with SGA, but why did you want to be involved with SGA, and kind of what do you hope that you can get out of that as a freshman, and what is, you know, joining that, and what do you expect to get out of that?
So I wanted to be in SGA because I was in student council in middle school, and we didn't do a lot for like just to be a part of the school and stuff. So I definitely, and my brother's in it, so I knew kind of what they did for the school. So I knew I had an interest in it. So when I finally got to the school, I realized how much I wanted to be a part of it and just like be a part of something in this like school. And so I'm glad that I did it because I know more people now, and I don't know, like I feel like I'm helping out and I get to be involved in the school's community.
So you said your brother was in it. Is your brother still in school here?
Yes.
So did he try to give you any sort of tips or strategies or anything about navigating Emmaus High School when you got here?
Yeah, he walked me through my schedule on those like orientation days.
In August, yeah.
Yeah, in August. So he helped me a lot with that and like what I needed for school, and he drives me to school, so helps me out a lot.
Now we'll see, based on what you're going to do here in the winter. I don't know if he's going to want to keep driving you to school.
Well,
Does he swim? Is
yes.
he a swimmer as
Yeah.
well? Oh, okay. So then he will. He's going to be stuck. So one of the other things that Sophia is involved in is orchestra, and we're going to try to get a couple other people from the band on as well too. But what is So you're involved in the orchestra. Is that only like an in-school thing? Do you play, like, are you going to be playing in like things like the school play in the spring? Like, so what is, as being a part of the orchestra, what does that mean?
So I've been in orchestra since 6th grade. Well, I played an instrument in 4th grade and then I stopped, and then I started again in 6th grade.
Okay.
So I've been in it for a while, and so I definitely wanted to continue through high school. I don't really do anything outside of like the school practicing and like our concerts and things.
Okay.
But
So you're not part of like the marching band or
No,
anything like that. So
no.
you're just, you sit there and what's your instrument?
I play the viola.
Okay. So for the people out there that are listening, and I'm trying to rack my head right now, what's the viola?
The viola is like, so do you know what a violin is?
I do know a violin.
All right.
Yes.
So a viola is like a little bit bigger than a violin.
Okay.
And it's a bit deeper. It's not as high pitched. Like the strings are like lower.
And is that the instrument that you were given in 4th grade, or
No.
you picked?
In 4th grade, I played the cello, which is where you're like sitting.
That's the big one. Yeah.
That's one of the big ones. Yeah. And so I stopped, and then my brother and Mrs. Arnold, who conducts the orchestra, they both convinced me to start playing the viola because they didn't have a lot of violas.
Okay.
So that's how I started playing that.
Because I have a daughter right now who's in 4th grade who also is doing the instrument thing. She's playing the clarinet. So it's interesting to hear your kind of story with how you progressed through. You took the year off and you played a different instrument and all those kinds of things. So I always think it's interesting when people are involved in the band, because I always wonder, what do they say to the kids in 3rd grade? Because every year my kids came home and they were so excited about joining the band.
Yeah.
And this year we let my daughter do it. My son did not. But she's practicing. She's trying. I don't know if she'll stick it out here to the high school, but it's kind of interesting. So you're involved in SGA. You're involved in the orchestra. We'll go over to Nicole for a second here. Now, Nicole is also involved in something that's really interesting that not a whole lot of people know about, unless you're here after school on random times and you see large groups of people running through the hallway and running up and down the steps. And Nicole, why don't you tell us what you're a part of here in the winter?
I'm a part of the fitness team.
Okay, so explain to everybody that's listening what the fitness team is.
The fitness team, it's a group of kids, and they meet at night at school, and we work out together, and we run. It's a lot of running and just conditioning, and then we compete at competitions in the spring.
Now, if you've never heard of the fitness team, our fitness team here at Emmaus is actually really good, and they travel all over the place. I feel like they're always going to California for competitions as upperclassmen, and they are very competitive and they win awards. But why did you decide? So you were a cross country runner in the fall, and now you're doing the fitness team. Why not stick with winter track? Why did you decide to go to the fitness team route?
Because I had heard about this from one of my friends, and I decided to try it out because it seemed interesting. And once I tried it out, the people were very welcoming, and I thought it was a fun experience, so I'm going to try and stick with that.
So practices just started 2 weeks ago or something? So describe to me, because I've seen this, and I'll never forget it. I was in the classroom where I used to teach out of, and I was here late one night, and all of a sudden this large group of people at 5 o'clock just ran past my door. And I had no idea what it was, and this was the fitness team. So can you explain to people that are listening and might be intrigued by what fitness team is? What does a workout for fitness team look like?
We do different sets of different types of workouts. So we'll do a running warm-up. So we'll run up the stairs, down the hall, and back down a few times. And then we'll do push-ups, and then we'll do a set of sprints, and then we'll come back and go to the weight room, and we just kind of move around to different activities just to build up and get stronger.
Cool. So it is something, and it's Monday nights that you guys usually practice, right?
Yes, it's usually Mondays 5 to 7.
So Mondays 5 to 7. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering what is fitness team, I think I've seen some flyers up around the school. So maybe you might want to come and check that out if you're trying to get into shape for maybe some spring sports, or you're just kind of interested. And is it the ROTC? It's what is it? It's some military part is also associated with it, right?
It's associated with the Marines.
Okay, Marines. So it's the Marine Corps testing, and a lot of sit-ups, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of that kind of stuff as well too. Mm-hmm. So you're ready. You're gonna get yourself in even better shape.
Yeah.
So you decide to go cut it down from running 5 miles and 6 miles to just running through the hallways like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Sophia's also in the process. I think next Monday. So by the time this goes up, she will, she's getting ready to start for her tryouts for swimming.
Yes.
So her life of, seeing the clock at 4:30 and 5 o'clock will begin, if it hasn't already.
So that's been going on for a while.
So you've been doing that for a while. So
yeah.
How long have you been swimming, and are you excited to try out for the team, and what do you think that's going to be like?
I've been swimming. I started swimming when I was 6. Just summer league stuff, fun. And then I joined my club team, which is EMAC, and they practice here. And so... yeah, so I've been swimming ever since then, and I've been doing the morning practices that start at 5:30 and stuff for about a year now. And so everyone that's on the high school team is pretty much on my club team, except for I'd say maybe 4 or 5 kids.
Okay. Yep.
So I pretty much know everyone that will be on the team. And so with tryouts next week, I'm not really sure what what we do for those, to like finalize the team. Not sure how many cuts are going to be made, but I'm excited.
What is your, do you have a specific distance or stroke, or is there something you specialize in?
My favorite is breaststroke. I'd say that's probably my best too.
Okay. So what do you anticipate? So next week practice starts. So Wednesday of next week, you're 3 days in. What kind of state do you expect yourself to be in after being up and swimming? So you do the before, you do the after school.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to be able to adjust to that and still kind of get all your stuff done that you're involved in and doing?
I think I'll be okay because I've been doing it for a while, and we already swim mornings and afternoons every day. Well, we do afternoons pretty much every day. But so I think I'll be ready to be tired all the time because I already am. So I think I'll be okay.
So we're going to have 2 tired freshman girls here, one from fitness team, one from swimming, but I don't think it's going to stop them from, keep on doing the good things that they're doing in the classroom and outside. So as we kind of tie up here and finish up, is there one bit of advice that you could give other freshmen that are currently here, or we're also targeting like 8th graders coming up to 9th grade? Is there one piece of advice that you would give those groups of kids to kind of help them with the transition here to 9th grade and what 9th grade is, kind of been all about here for you at the high school?
I don't know, maybe just manage your time well and be smart about how you're spending your time.
Okay, so time management, and that's one of the common themes that comes up all the time is students, and especially student athletes, talking about managing time and trying to fit everything in. So how about you, Nicole? Do you have one thing that you would kind of impart or kind of tell people about?
I also agree with Sophia. Definitely learn how to manage your time and also get involved, because the more people you know, the more the easier it'll make your transition to the high school.
Awesome. So we want to say thanks to Sophia and Nicole for joining us here. So hopefully you'll see them either running through the hallway or swimming in meets or playing in the band or playing in the orchestra or at student government or all over the school. So thanks a lot for your help, and continued good luck this year.
Thanks for having us.